Hello everyone! Today we're going to be jumping into Historic Brawl with Tovolar, the Dire Overlord, and playing a werewolf-themed deck. Now, Tovolar has two sides. First, he is a 3-mana 3/3. Whenever a wolf or werewolf we control deals combat damage to a player, we are going to draw a card while he's out on the battlefield. And at the beginning of our upkeep, if we control 3 or more wolves or werewolves, in any combination thereof, it will become night, and we can transform any number of human werewolves we control. Additionally, Tovolar is going to start the day-night cycle with Daybound. Now, when he flips over into being that night creature, we have that same ability, letting us draw cards when our wolves and werewolves deal combat damage, but additionally we can pay X, red, green, to have target wolf or werewolf we control get +X/+O and trample until the end of turn, which can be very strong for helping us get through a little bit of extra damage. That aside, we have the rest of our deck, which is focused on getting ourselves a bunch of werewolves. We have a couple of werewolf-specific synergies, things like Howling Moon, which is very fun, buffing a wolf or werewolf we control until the end of turn, and giving us wolves whenever our opponents cast their second spells. We also have cards like Moon Mist here, which is going to transform all humans and prevent combat damage that would be dealt by creatures other than werewolves and wolves. So this is kind of a very fun way to surprise flip our board, making it almost like it's night, and really disrupting our opponent's game plan. Aside from that, we've got a bunch of high-value werewolf cards, all of which are going to be, again, flipping into better forms of themselves at night. And then we have our card draw, where we have things like the Great Henge to draw us cards. Of course, we have card draw on our commander. We also have Return of the Wild Speaker. Now, this is also just a fun way to buff non-human creatures. That being said, most of our creatures will be human on their front side, but then just werewolf on the back side. So we can benefit from the non-human creature buff during nighttime when we're swinging out to get some extra damage in. We also have Beast Whisperer and Guardian Project, some more of that premier card draw in green. Now, one of the other interesting cards that we have that's not a wolf or werewolf is Cabaretti Revels. Whenever you cast a creature spell, we can seek a creature card with a lesser mana value and put it onto the battlefield. For 3 mana, this is absolutely insane. It turns all of our creatures into 2 creatures, and it's just strictly going to be better than whatever we have going on. But that's pretty much overarching what we're going to be doing with this deck. Again, lots of werewolves that we're going to be attacking with, trying to go ahead and beat down our opponent with a semi-aggro game plan. Now, if you have been enjoying my content, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on my latest videos. And if you do enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like. Let's go ahead and see how this deck does. Alright, here we are, game 1 against Sauron. Now, this is a pretty good starting hand. I don't mind this. I think we're going to take a mulligan, though. I think we can find something a little bit better. Now, this one we will go ahead and keep. We have Arcane Signet for some early ramp. Maybe we can get our Nightpack Ambusher out a turn early, which could be great since it has Flash in response to something our opponent does. Lots of different options here. Our opponent's still thinking about their opening hand. And it looks like they've gone ahead and kept. I'm going to start with red. Red threatens like a lightning bolt or something like that. Maybe it's going to keep our opponent off of some of those plays. Now, depending on what we want to do here, if our opponent taps out, sure. My guess is the Ambusher is going to go. I think the benefit here is our opponent doesn't know what all the werewolves do. So they have to read everything. Yep. They make the correct choice here. Let's just play out our commander. We'll start the day-night cycle this way. Next turn we can get out 2 werewolves. But let's see. Alright, that's fine by me. I think we just go ahead and mill whatever that card is. That's fine. Outlaw and the Mayor. Swing for 4. Draw a card. Find a Bone Crusher Giant. Yeah, not a wolf or werewolf, just a high-quality spell. Alright, opponent is basically skipping their turn here. I mean, sure, they're getting access to more cards. We'll have them draw this time. Transform all of our werewolves. And it looks like we've got it. Alright, on the play. This isn't bad, but I'd like to see something a little bit better. I like this more. We'll keep this hand. Start with our tapped land and scry. We're gonna put that on the bottom, because I do want to find some more lands. We're actually okay for some of our early turns here. Opponent starting off with some ramp. We'll ramp ourselves. Next turn we can play Beast Whisperer. Give us some more card draw. Alright, just return that back to our hand, that's fine. Let's go Rhythm of the Wild. Not that we're worried about counter spells from our opponent, but we do want Riot on our creatures, that's going to be pretty strong. Blossoming Fortis. Alright, so let's think about how we want to do this. I think we're going to start with this, and then via Riot we'll give it haste so we can tap it immediately, get out our Mayor, and we'll put a +1/+1 counter on the Mayor. Alright, no blocks from us. We'll be taking this damage. And opponent plays Emoti. Very fun. Alright, let's go Tovolar. We'll go with haste. Let's see. Yeah, we'll tap down for our pack leader as well. We'll also give it haste. And then we'll swing out. Draw 3 cards. We'll play our tapped castle this turn. Next turn, we can play out our Arsonist, which is going to be pretty good. That'll let us kill Emoti. We'll have some other options as well. Alright. Transform. Let's go ahead, play out our Arsonist. Get a +1/+1 counter there. We'll pick another +1/+1 counter because it already has haste. And then moving to combat, I think we'll just swing out with everything. Okay, 2 damage, so we kill a Modi, we deal 2 damage to our opponent, no Planeswalker. That's fine. My guess is they block and kill our commander. Yep. We've got our opponent down at 5. Back to the command zone you go. Draw some cards. And we're back to our opponent's turn. Just gonna replay a Modi here. Augur of Autumn. Now I think our opponent is going to be sorely disappointed when they find out one particular interaction that we have here. Let's go play out you. We'll go with haste, because we'd like more damage. Play out you as well. We'll also pick haste. We'll put the 3+1/+1 counters here. Well, that was a mistake, so we're just gonna swing out and likely win the game. Alright, on the play. Now, we have a hand that was filled with fun cards, but not necessarily useful ones. We're going to take the mulligan. We end up with pretty much the same thing, but that's okay. We're going to just play the tapped castle first. Lair of the Hydra. Play Arcane Signet. That's going to give us access to red. Piper of the Swarm. Alright. Let's see. I think we go with the Cemetery Prowler here, or we could play out Tovolar. Let's go with Tovolar. Tovolar is going to start the day-night cycle. And we can get extra value off the ETB here on a later turn. Back in the command zone you go. Next to no access to red for us, we're going to play out Domri. Plus Cemetery Prowler. Can't be countered. Get rid of that from the graveyard. Sure, another removal spell. That's fine. Let's go Escape to the Wilds. Command Tower. Mountain. Plus here. Let's play the Recruiter. Next turn we're going to try and get the Great Henge down. Yep. Opponent's just playing Removal Spell Tribal. That's fine. Picking Werewolf here. Let's see. What do I want to do? I guess we play out our commander, so we'll plus. Play out our commander.
Wait, that might be me.
Now, is there anything else that we want to do? I think we're just going to kill the Piper. No reason not to. We lose the Great Henge, and that's fine. Now we just have some combat spells. Alright, now what do I want to do here? I think we're going to change it to night. We'll just fight here. Play out our other werewolf. X1. For that extra damage, and we'll draw a card here. And then draw an additional card. We find a land and we'll play it. Okay, gonna keep our commander. Unfortunately, we lose our planeswalker, but that's gonna be okay. Let's go additional card draw for us. And then what do we have? 2? X2. That's 7 additional damage. We have our opponent down at 11. Draw 2 cards. And now we're in a really good spot. Opponent can play out Shieldred, but we'll just sacrifice our Liberator, keep Tovolar. That's fine. Back to the command zone you go. Alright, let's go Ranger class. Commander. Pack leader. Level up. And that's a pretty strong turn right there. We're gonna get rid of the pack leader. Let's see. Well, let's level up here first. And now we're gonna attack. Put a +1/+1 counter on our commander. Alright, now we're gonna use Moon Mist here. And then... since that's preventing all damage that Shieldred's going to deal, we're going to keep that. And we will go ahead and deal that damage. Draw a card. We have our Guardian Project. Let's play that out. Alright. We lose Tovolar here. Back in the command zone he goes. Alright, let's just replay him. Untapped land. Move to combat. +1/+1 counter. Additional 2 damage. So there's 5. Draw a card. Not bad. We're showing lethal on board. Opponent's gonna have to deal with 2 attacking creatures, and they're gonna have to deal with trample. The board has not been flipped. So let's just move to combat. I think we do want to animate. We have the layer to animate if we want to. We'll put an extra +1/+1 counter over here. And we've got it. Alright, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. So as we were able to see there, we were capable of putting a lot of werewolves out onto the battlefield and drawing a bunch of cards once we've done that, which is a really great way to stay in the game, regardless of what our opponent's getting up to. Really, the main advantage of playing a deck like this is its card draw and its ability to benefit from all of those cards, because we are going to be emptying our hand onto the battlefield and getting a bunch of creatures. Now, some of the weaknesses that you might run up against is decks that are focused on a very strong control strategy can actually keep us from developing the board that we need to go ahead and win the game. And additionally, it can be kind of difficult with the day-night cycle to make sure that we are always getting the benefit of it being nighttime for our creatures, right? A lot of the time, we're just going to be swinging with the day-bound version because we do want to be building our board. That being said, if we can get ahead of our opponent in the early game, with all of this card draw, we're going to be able to stay in the game to the late game and definitely close it out. We have some pretty large threats in this deck as well, which are also going to be growing over the course of the game and helping us get to that particular point. Another piece of caution is we don't have too much interaction, so if our opponent starts playing out some big enchantments or things like that that we're not going to be able to deal with, we will start running into an issue, so we definitely want to focus on the early damage while we can. Now, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you have any ideas for another deck that you would like to see me play, why don't you let me know in a comment down below. I'll see you all next time.